Now we are going to discuss about the public choice approach in public administration. The public choice approach needs to be related to the basic theoretical traditions in public administration. The revolutionary aspects of public administration have generally been concerned with efficiency, effectiveness and economy. The idea is to see that administration becomes result oriented and productive by spending resources optimally. This effectiveness, economy, efficiency is called as EQ in public administration. Public administration has fascinated by Wilsonian search for a science of administration at the close of 19th century. This Wilsonian approach has discussed about the dichotomy of politics and public administration, which has actually laid the foundations to the study of public administration. In practice, remarkable changes took place as the governments in the West sought to adapt the new technologies, new societal demands and develop competitions. This led to a search for new paradigms of public administration like new public administration, that is what we call Minobrook perspective, public choice theory, that is what today we are discussing, critical theory, which is called as a Frankfurt School technique, and new public management. Later, this type of evolution has continued with a governance, and governance with information technology is called as electronic governance. Through this lesson, you will be able to learn the basic concepts of public choice approach and the criticisms on public choice approach. Public choice theory leads the attack on state monopoly for effective delivery of public goods and services. Public choice. Public has to have a choice. Which type of service I required, which type of service I am not required is the choice of the public. This approach forwards the idea of institutional pluralism to satisfy the consumers. James Buchanan, Gordon Tullock, Vincent Ostrom and William Niskanen are the principal exponents of this approach. The basic assumptions of this theory are: with adequate information and an ordered preference, individuals rationally and maximize the utility. The point is simple here. All these people like Vincent Ostrom, Niskanen and Buchanan, these people are talking about why there is a state monopoly, why the state has to control in each and everything. Let the people can have their own choice among the services provided by the state. The background and the theoretical traditions of the public choice. This public choice school opposes the domination of politico-bureaucratic combine over the society in the name of general will or public interest. They question the assumption that bureaucracy is neutral and rational. According to them, actual bureaucrats and are self-aggrandizing, manipulate the public resources and have their own interest in different from the public interest. This is where the crux of the understanding of the public choice theory. Public administration is an activity of government. We talk public administration is an execution of the policies made by the political systems. But here what the public choice people are saying is the bureaucracy is going to control the implementation, also policy making as per their wishes are concerned, their choices are concerned. So, after all, both the bureaucrats and politicians are human beings, and so they behave as utility maximizers. Politicians are interested only in the votes. For that, they want to do whatever the policy. This politico-bureaucrat combine, instead of ensuring the provision of goods and services for the general public, often act out the self-interest. These so-called civil servants act as the private vested interest and hijack the functioning of the government. The whole issue of the politico-bureaucratic combined is ultimately not helping the public. So, whatever the public choice is decided by the government and people are following with that. So, what is a good administration? According to Wilson, who is the founder father of public administration, will be hierarchically ordered in a system of graded ranks subject to political direction by heads of the departments at the center of government. Government may differ in political principles reflected in their constitutions, but the principle of good administration are much the same in any system of government. Perfection in administrative organization is attained in a hierarchically ordered and professionally trained public service. The discipline of public administration was developed within the framework set by Wilson in the early stages of the evolution of public administration. Public choice theory uses modern economic tools to study problems that are generally in the realm of political science. From the perspective of political science, it explains how voters, politicians and bureaucrats all act in rational self-interest, but which results in political decision making outcomes that conflict with the preference of the general public. Several public choice scholars have been awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics, notably James Buchanan along with others in 1986, including George Stigler 1982 and Gary Becker 1992. Along with them, Vincent Ostrom and his wife Mrs. Vincent Ostrom, Eleanor Ostrom, she also got a Nobel Prize after explaining about this theory. Here now, as a student, you can identify that public choice theory basically has come from the economic and financial aspects of the society. Public administration is not related only with the political science and political systems, it also influenced by the economy and economic interest of the common public. These group of scholars consider public choice to be a branch of economics concerned with the application of economics to the examination of non-market decision making. It has been developed by a number of eminent scholars in a variety of ways. It was also called as the economic theory of politics, the public theory of policy making and the application of economics to politics. Public choice is a truly interdisciplinary topic and is an arena in which economic and political factors interact. The public choice theory assumes that the behavior of the individual is rational. The term the public choice was first coined in 1967 and gained importance in public administration in the 1970s. Public choice is defined by Dennis Miller as the economic study of non-market decision making or simply the application of economics to political science. When economics is applied to the public administration, its focus is on efficiency and rationality. According to the public choice theory, the individual actor, that is a public manager or a client, is a utility maximizer who attempts to increase net benefits. This theory makes three assumptions. First, it focuses on the rational, that is economic man. It means each and every man wants to pay less for each and every service, and he wants each service has to come very fast and he wants to save the time. So, that is the first part of efficiency aspect is how to save the time of a common man once we are giving a service, and service has to be very fast compared with the previous time. Secondly, it assumes that public goods require the cooperative behavior of citizens. And the third assumption is desirability of institutional arrangements, means whenever we talk of an efficiency and effectiveness, institutions also has to be ready to do all these things. If without institutional ready to provide a fast service within a time for a cheaper rate, then public is not going to be satisfied. The theory contends that the role of public administration is to develop decentralized, small scale service system at different levels of government. It believes that a mixture of economics and politics is an innovative way of restructuring the delivery systems. Now, we are going to discuss about the public choice theory and what are the important contributions to it, contributions to public administration. The public choice theory has been chiefly propounded, as said previously also, by William Niskanen in 1971 and Vincent Ostrom in 1974. Ostrom has been critical of the dominant governing organization theory, which emphasized on integration of public responsibility following reduction of decision centers and strengthening of the executive. Ostrom, while espousing the value of efficiency, questioned the belief that hierarchy is necessarily the most efficient form of organization. Here the clash will start. That is, the traditional public administration and whatever we are talking of a classical school and the working of the administration in all over the world is based on the hierarchical model of the public administration. According to us, the hierarchical model is inefficient. The public choice school starts questioning this basic structure of the hierarchical model of public administration. Moreover, he is optimistic that democratic decision making and efficiency within public organizations are not necessarily incompatible to values. It means democratic decision making and decentralizations, taking decisions as a team instead of a hierarchical systems is not against of the values propounded by the classical school or any public administration system. This is what the public choice and Vincent Ostrom's first argument. For Ostrom, democratic administration is to be valued precisely because it is the most efficient form of administration. Ostrom sought bureaucracy's replacement by his public choice theory. This is an alternative paradigm and involves multiple decision centers, power diffusion and a market discipline. Overlapping jurisdictions are advantages in the public choice theory, but pose difficulties also. As we shall see later in the latter parts of this lesson, however, Ostrom's definition of efficiency departs substantially from the ordinary bureaucratic meaning of the term. Public choice represents another facet of work in political economy with more radical implications for the theory of public administration. Most political economists in the public choice tradition begin with the individual as the basic unit of analysis. Traditional economic man is replaced by man, the decision maker. The second concern in the public choice tradition is with the conceptualization of public goods as the type of event associated with the output of public agencies. These efforts are closely related to Simon's concern for the definition and measurement of the results of administrative action. Just you recall Herbert Simon's contributions to the decision making theory and administrative man, a rational man. Man is a decision maker. How he will take a decision? It is not just based on a rationality, it is based on a situations as an administration. In addition, public choice theory is concerned with the effect that different decision rules or decision making arrangements will have upon the production of those events conceptualized as public goods and services. Thus, a model of a man, the type of event characterized as public goods and services and decision structures comprise the analytical variables in public choice theory. Our man, that is a decision maker, will confront certain opportunities and possibilities in the world of events and will pursue his relative advantage within the strategic opportunities afforded by different types of decision rules or decision making arrangements. The consequences are evaluated by whether or not the outcome is consistent with the efficiency criterion. Generally, there are four assumptions regarding public choice theory. First, individuals are assumed to be self-interested. Second, individuals are assumed to be rational. Third, individuals are assumed to adopt maximizing strategies. Fourth, the level of information possessed by an individual. Ultimately here the point is public choice theory talks from the economic angle. All the time they talk consumer. They are not using the word called citizen. They are not use the call as a human being. They are saying consumer. It means the state, what we are thinking is dominated by the government, but public choice theory talks about state is not only a government, it is also a market. In a market, for a state, a human being is going to be a citizen, for a market is a consumer. So, as a consumer, he is going to have some rights for a demand, for rights to choice. The problem of collective inaction can be overcome under somewhat optimal conditions provided by substantial unanimity can be sustained at the level of constitutional choice. Political and administrative leadership is led to search out median solutions within a community of people which has a single peaked order of preferences. A public service can be produced by an enterprise subject to those constraints. Some difficult problems will always remain to plague those concerned with the provision of public goods and services. This is another important area the public choice theory all the time concentrates. This school, that is public choice school of thought, sees the organization as a sovereign individuals making organizational decisions. Vincent Ostrom disputes the organizational efficiency of bureaucracy in comparison to other alternative organizational forms. The alternative forms, according to Vincent Ostrom, should be based on decentralized democratic administration, competitiveness in the process of provision of goods and services. These two above views suggest that the public choice school proponents were the strong votaries of dispersed decision making authority and favored taking into account the individual preferences in the process of decision making. The governmental organizations had monocratic, hierarchical, bureaucratic structures which do not promote efficiency and choice. Instead of such type of structures, competition should be the basis of forming various organizations. Multi-organizational structures of institutional pluralism will promote this kind of a democratic and healthy competition. It is here we have to understand. The point is, it is not a monopoly of a government organization, let it then a multiplicity of various institutions has to come. Health, why only government? Let it be the various private organizations has to come. Education, let it be private. Telephones, let it be private. Like that, each and everywhere there is a multiplicity of organizations and institutions has to offer services, then public is going to identify their choice. This is the basic important aspect, basic aspects of the public choice theory. This approach says that if the democratic principle of choice is exercised along the above lines, then efficiency is maximized in terms of human and material resources. Scholars in the public choice tradition have concerned with the effect of decision rules upon the expression of individual preferences regarding the social welfare of a community individuals. Particular attention has been paid to a majority vote as a means of expressing such preferences. Community is assumed to have a single peaked preference ordering, and then a choice reflecting the median preference position will dominate all other under majority vote, providing the numbers are odd. If representatives are aware of their constituents' preferences, the task of developing a winning coalition depends upon the formulation of a program that will occupy the median position of voter preferences, provided the voters are making a choice between two alternatives. Under these circumstances, persons in political and administrative leadership would have an incentive to formulate a program oriented to the median preference position of their constituents. Voters would then choose the alternative if presented with choice. These conditions may reasonably apply to a public good for which there is a relatively uniform demand in relation to any particular community if interest. Variations in demand for the different mixes of public goods, as might be reflected in the difference between wealthy neighborhoods and poor neighborhoods in a big city, would mostly likely not meet the conditions of single peakness when applied to the provisions of educational services, police services or welfare services. Majority voting under such conditions would fail to reflect the social preference of such diverse neighborhoods if they were in the same constituency. The main recommendations of public choice theory encompass the following areas of concern: reducing the discretionary powers of the politicians and role of the government, reducing the government monopolies and ensuring institutional pluralism for the provision of delivery of goods and services, reforming the organization based on the principles of dispersed authority and competition, constitutional checks and increased accountability of governmental institutions to the public to limit the powers such as deficit budgeting and taxation powers of politico-bureaucratic combine and the various vested groups around them. The role of governmental operations should shift to the advisory and regulatory areas, as the functioning of market may also have distortions and not based on healthy competition regulation by government is necessary. The functions like providing educational and healthcare facilities should be optional for the government. They should preferably be privatized. The big government should give way to lean and thin governments, that is, the size of government should be reduced. This is because the visible hand of the government may not always be benevolent, and even in popular democracies, government may not be framing rational economic policies for the long-term development of society. The expenditures incurred by governmental sector should be reduced. Among the public agencies also, competition should be encouraged. The self-seeking behavior of the government officials tends to sustain status quo. This prevents the development and innovation. Changes should be brought about keep pace with the rapidly changing socio-economic conditions. The public choice school is a critique of the bureaucratic model of administration and searches for an appropriate form of political organization which may meet the needs of the citizens of the post-industrial age. In this new form, a variety of institutional arrangements are entrusted with the responsibility of providing goods and services to the citizens. Citizens are rational consumers of public goods and services, so they are ultimate source of administrative power. Dominant bureaucratic structure has amassed a lot of power which is at present unchallenged and does not have to face any competition. This administrative power has to be divided and handed over to the citizens by several ways in consonance with their wishes and preferences.